What are these drones? There have been countless sightings of drones up and down the eastern seaboard. I guess if you want to look for a silver lining, what's great about this story is that it basically fits in with most conspiracy theories. Whatever your conspiracy theory is, you can probably shoehorn it into the drones. Alien invasion, the government spying on citizens, the deep state, lizard people, the new world order, which is that lizard people too? I don't know. Either way, both a combination of the two. Terrorists, Russia, China, Iran, the Jews. The Jews fit into this one like a glove. Maybe they're weather controlling drones or space laser drones. Who knows? Either way, could be the Jews. Whatever it is, there's one thing we can be sure that it's not. Actually, I don't even know. I don't know what to rule out. Vietnam. It's probably not Vietnam. Justin Trudeau asked Chrystia Freeland to resign. So the number one person that Canadians want to resign asked the number two person that Canadians want to resign to resign. To be honest with you, I actually think this is a pretty good sign. I think that if we try hard enough, we can convince Justin Trudeau to ask Justin Trudeau to resign. I mean, he's always talking about doing what's best for Canadians, right? If we convince him that if he off, it's what will be best for Canadians, and manage to frame it in a way where it looks like it's his idea, he's just enough of a narcissistic dork that he might do it. Hamas has repeatedly lied about the death toll in Gaza and how many civilians have been killed. This shouldn't shock anyone. The Gaza Health Ministry sounds like a legitimate organization, but it's run directly by Hamas, who uses them in their propaganda war to make Israel look like genocidal maniacs. Which is, of course, what they themselves are. The real problem is that the stats that Hamas issues through the Gaza Health Ministry are repeated blindly without any questions being asked by various forms of mainstream media. It should be obvious to anyone that government-controlled statistics from a region where the government has not held an election in 15 years, killed off all of its political rivals, deliberately kills civilians, then hides behind their own, and does not have a free press, might not be trustworthy. This has been a part of Hamas's strategy for years. They call it the CNN strategy, which CNN might have hated years ago, but with their ratings currently in the toilet, hey, no press is bad press. In a nutshell, the CNN strategy is when Hamas sends bullshit info in the form of stats, footage, and reports to Western media that is sympathetic to the Palestinian side. They then publish it without scrutiny. So the claim is that 44,000 people have been killed by Israel in Gaza during this war. This figure does not distinguish between the civilians and the 17,000 combatants of Hamas that Israel says that they killed. So right there, they're basically saying everybody who has been killed in this war is innocent. It also includes 5,000 people who've died of natural causes, unrelated to the war. For example, some people were actually given cancer treatments after they were listed as dead in the war. So Israel bombed them, and then they still managed to make it out for their last chemo session. This number 44,000 also includes people who died before the war started. So either the IDF developed time travel or they're full of shit. This number also includes people that Hamas killed themselves. Because Hamas is a terrorist organization, and sometimes they have to kill their own people just to show that they mean business. They've also falsely reported adults who were killed and labeled them as children, and they've even listed dead people who have male names as women. And I know we're very gender fluid over here in the West, not so much in Gaza. If you're going to be skeptical of any information that's coming out of Israel because you just think it's propaganda for the Zionist regime, fine. But be equally as skeptical with the side that you're supporting. The difference between these two places is that Israel has a free press that has been highly and vocally critical of the Netanyahu government. If you want to be critical of governments, go ahead. But that's not just the governments that you don't like. To have blindly accepted the numbers that Hamas has put out over the last year is beyond irresponsible. You're not a critical thinker by going against Israel. You refuse to scrutinize your own side. Well, some cold hard facts. The side that you're supporting deliberately targets civilians. Not just on October 7th, but also in general. They have been firing rockets at civilian populations within Israel from Gaza. Then, when Israel retaliates, they hide behind their own civilians in order to implement implement the CNN strategy. You guys just parrot all of their propaganda without asking any questions at all. Then, if anybody questions what you're saying, you turn it into a moral argument, throw around the word genocide a few times, again, based on bullshit numbers, and call it a day. Air Canada is now charging people who buy the lowest fare ticket an additional fee to bring carry-on. Remember when you used to buy a plane ticket and they not only assumed but gave you the basic respect that you might want to bring a bag with you? I'm tired of these airlines constantly weeping in the media. We can't make any money. Well, then pack it in. Perhaps you're just not a viable business, because the only solution can't be to fee us to death. There are already airlines that charge you a fee for every add-on that you want. Those airlines are discount airlines. They charge you a really low fare, and then if you want any perks like a seat or to bring some luggage or be talked to with basic human respect, they gouge you. Now, so does Air Canada, but without that initial cheap ticket part. Carry-on should be included. It should be built into the price of the ticket. Nobody goes somewhere without bringing some stuff with them. No one leaves for a trip and is like, nah, this will be good for a week. Airlines charging for carry-on is like McDonald's charging for the wrapper that the burger comes in. If you have one without the other, it doesn't make any sense. If you give me one and it doesn't include the other, the whole process falls apart. No one's gonna go to McDonald's and say, oh, wait a second, a fee for the wrapper? No, just throw it loose into a bag. I'll eat it under a bridge like a troll. The war on Christmas has gone full circle. It used to be a thing that the right complained about. There was some sort of war on Christmas. No one wanted to celebrate Christmas anymore, which of course was not real. Now the left complains about the right complaining about it, even though they don't complain about it anymore. And honestly, the real war should be on New Year's Eve, and we should all be waging it. It is the worst night of the year. You pay $50 to get into a bar that's free every other night of the year. Then you stand in a line that's 10 times longer than it is any other day of the year and pay more for drinks. Then you go home, you go to bed, you wake up the next day, and you promise yourself you're gonna stop being fat.